Well, hello, friends. Real quick before we kick off the episode, I have to let you know about something exciting. I am seriously considering having an upgraded version of this podcast where you get bonus episodes and exclusive content. But here's the deal, I'm trying to decide what that content and those episodes should be. I do have some ideas, and I was wondering if you could vote really quick and tell me what you think about what would entice you, what would be interesting to you to get as bonus episodes on this podcast. For example, deeper dives into topics. Maybe I'm answering questions that many of you ask about starting or growing a business. Maybe even overhearing coaching calls, something like this. It would be a paid, upgraded version of this podcast, not very expensive at all, probably just a handful of dollars a month, but it be extra content for you to help you along your journey. My whole goal is to help you build your business dream, and I would love to offer you even more because some of you are asking for it. So if you could just look down in the show notes right now, there's two ways you can give me your answers. Number one, I have a Google form with 5 quick questions. It can be anonymous. You just answer them and vote on what would be interesting to you. Or number two, I have a voice memo system. You can just click it and you could just leave a voice memo with your phone right now and just record it and tell me what kind of topics, what things would be interesting to you behind the scenes, market news, what would be things that would be extra that would be really valuable to you. So thank you all so much. Okay, on to the episode. Well, hello, I'm Kimberly Brock, and for the last 20 years, I've been running my own businesses that have not only been profitable, but personally fulfilling to me. And so now I'm on a mission to help other women just like you do the exact same thing. Now we're going to have some fun, so let's get started. Well, hello, this is episode 10. Thank you so much for being here. Real quick, for those of you that have been listening to these podcast episodes and you find that you're useful, I would be so grateful if you would please give a quick rating on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, whatever you're using. They usually have a star rating. You can pick 5 stars because that's the highest one if you feel so inclined. And if you would write a review, that would be even better. But if you don't have time, I understand. But a written review also helps me just confirm the content that I'm speaking of is working. And by giving a rating, it helps further promote my podcast to other listeners that are interested in these types of topics. So thank you so much for doing that and enjoy the episode. Hey guys, this is Kimberly. I'm so happy you're here today. I hope this episode really gives you pause for a minute here to think about how you are approaching aspects of your life and business, and how present and focused are you, and how are you experiencing your life and business. So I want to ask you today, are you sitting in the back of the room, or are you in the front row, or even the second row? How close are you to what is going on, and what experience are you having while it's going on? So I kind of have an analogy here because it's exactly what happened to me a few days ago. So my husband and I and my 11-year-old daughter went to our normal church service. We go to a very large church, and we were brought in, and all of a sudden there was an usher, and I just happened to mention my daughter forgot her glasses. And so they said, "Oh, we're going to get you to the front." And so my husband and I were kind of standing there because usually we have our little spot in the back or off to this left side. And they walked up to the front. One of the pastors was speaking, and then they waved us. So in front of the whole congregation, we are getting literally ushered up to the front, and we sit in the second row, which is actually the first row of the congregation, because the first row was reserved for the pastors and the guests that they had speaking or doing different, formalities that day. So we were front and center, lights on us, the whole 9 yards. And it was such an experience. I just sat there even before anything else had happened going, oh my gosh, I didn't realize how different this was up here. And it was like focus time. I didn't notice all the other people because I had to look to my left or right to do that. And I was focused on the speaker and what was going on. So I want you to think about, maybe you don't go to church, but maybe you're a student. Or, you can be a student and go to church. But I'm just saying, maybe for your life, you're a student right now and you sit in classes. Do you sit in the back or do you sit close up to the front to listen? And I have to tell you all, I have the funniest little diagram. So if you go down to the show notes, so right now you can scroll down. If you're an Apple Podcast or Spotify, whatever you're in, scroll down, go to the show notes in a minute and click the link that'll go over to my website. And there's this diagram about different types of people and where they sit, kind of what you're subliminally saying by where you sit in a room. It's kind of funny. So you'll have to look at it. Anyways, my point is, if you're a student, where do you sit? If you are in business meetings, where do you sit? Are you in the back? Are you kind of clueless in the back? Or are you more toward the front? Maybe where you work out. Some people go to group workout classes where you can stand in the back or the front. Maybe you go to a play or a concert. Now, I know with concerts, it's more expensive to sit in the very front. But how close up are you? What's the experience you're having? And like me, if you're at church, where do you normally sit? So there's a lot of reasons why people do not go up to the front. And the main reason that we normally didn't go up to the front of the church was because we are usually a little bit late. Yes, it is true. The Brocks are usually a little bit late, which is not good. And we need to change that. But with that, we don't want to interrupt the service or whatever's going on. So that's why I think we've actually ended up toward the back or sides, because we're at the mercy of what's left. I think a lot of people don't go to the front because you're afraid you may get called on or volunteered to do something, or you may not be totally committed to whatever the speaker's talking about or the speaker's ability to be a good speaker. Sometimes people do that, like they go into classes or the professor and they're like, I don't like this professor, so they sit in the back. But if it was somebody amazing that you knew you had confidence in it was going to be the greatest, you would go up to the front, right? And some people don't go up to the front because they don't want to be part of the show, meaning they don't want to be seen or called on. Like, for example, comedy clubs. I love going to comedy clubs. And if you sit in the front, you can 100% bet you are going to be picked on. And it cracks me up every time. I would never sit in the front because I do not want to be picked on, but it's hilarious. Anyways, I want you to think about where you are in your daily life. Is there anywhere that you have a chance to move up some rows so that you can have a better experience and you can take more from the experience and you can be more involved? Because this is what I noticed. I was going to kind of give you 3 things that I noticed by sitting up in the front row. First of all, the obvious, we could see better, and my daughter could see because she didn't have her glasses, but I could see the textures on the clothes and the different items up on the stage. It was crazy. I could see the pastor's facial expressions better and just like their emotions, I guess you could say. Just the little nuances in their facial expressions drew me in more. The lighting was better. I could see just the whole experience. I was more involved. It was just clearer and it was more visually, what's the word? I don't even know. I just felt more present and I was right there. The second thing is that I could feel more. We actually had a female pastor that day, and when she was speaking, the emotion was deeper because I felt more connected, because it was a more personal experience, right? And the third thing I noticed is that me and my husband and my daughter focused more. We were sitting up straight. We didn't dare pull out a phone to see if we had gotten a text. I had my phone turned off, which I think we normally do in church. But, sometimes if you're in the back, you're like, oh, wait, was that my phone that just, like, none of that. We were on our best behavior. We were focused. And I feel like I really took it all in better. I just was more in it. And so I challenge you today to think about where you are in your life. What are you doing on a daily basis that you're sitting in the back row and you're not experiencing something to its fullest? And I've heard other people say like, oh, I never know what's going on, or they never tell me anything, or I'm always left out. My bet is because you're at the back of the room and you're not really involved. You're not really in it. You're not connecting. So today, please think, what are those aspects of your business that you're just taking a back seat and you're just not really getting involved with your customers? You're not really connecting with them. Or in aspects of your personal life that you're just taking a back seat, or maybe you're not involved if, you got friend groups or children's activities. Is there something that you're not taking action on, moving forward and being committed to? Because this kind of relates to my episode, I think it was episode 8, which is, are you ambitious or actually committed? You may want to listen to that too if you haven't already, because kind of where you sit is speaking to your commitment. It doesn't mean 100% that you're not committed if you're sitting in the back. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying in your heart, personally, are you focused? Are you paying attention? Are you really feeling all of this? And I challenge you to go up to the front, sit there, and enjoy a new perspective. You will be enlightened and you will realize, wow, I can be here. I can choose to be here instead of back there. So that's it. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. Again, you can go to KimberlyBrock.com and see my funny little diagram. I didn't make it. I found it online and it's got the credits to who created it on there, but I just thought it was kind of funny. And I looked at it and immediately saw where my husband would sit and said, oh, that's him. So it's just funny. You'll have to look at it. And what else do I need to tell you? I need to tell you that if you have been enjoying this podcast, I would love for you to give me a review. I read them all. I so appreciate them, and it will help me because, the Apple Podcast algorithms, the Spotify algorithm, all that. If I get ratings, it helps me be seen more, and that's all. I just want to be seen and heard, and I don't need to be number one. I don't need to be the greatest, but I'm doing this for people just like you, and it will help spread it to others just like you. So if you could give me a review today, it's super easy. Whatever you're on, you can just click the stars. 5 stars would be amazing. 5 stars is the max. Or you can also write a written review real quick. And I love getting the feedback. So thank you all so much. Have a great day. And until next time, keep forging, keep pushing forward. Have a great day. Bye.
Now, this episode may be over, but our relationship does not have to end here. Head on over to KimberlyBrock.com, and yes, you can get more valuable information for your journey. And you know what? You don't need to go through this alone. I would love to help you. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Bye.